Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to League Racing TV. Welcome along to TML F1. We are here tonight for season number 8, round number 9 of the championship. Not round number 8, as I've actually put in the title. It's round number 9, and we take in, of course, the British Grand Prix from the home of British motorsport here at the Silverstone International Circuit. My name is James Head. Hopefully I am going to be taking you to the stream tonight. No, there's no hopefully about it. I am going to be taking you to the stream tonight for TML F1, of course, on this fine Thursday evening. And joining me in the commentary box, debuted last week, back again this week. Fortunate for some, I'm sure, we have Alex the G alongside me in the commentary box. Alex, how you doing?
I'm doing great this evening. I think this could be a really, really exciting race, particularly in Silverstone. It is obviously the birthplace of Formula One and has always proved to be an amazing racing venue in the past.
Yeah, it will be really interesting indeed. I've just got your Discord message, by the way, about wanting a lobby invite. I'm having to send that right now. So we did go blue screen there just for a second, just so I could invite him into the lobby. We should be all good, though, and we have got 16 drivers currently in the lobby coming into tonight. Of course, we would normally be on OBS, but I'm going to read you through the position changes first and foremost, because there was quite a few position changes from last week. I'm just going to put it bluntly, diabolical driving standards last week in Italy. These guys know better. I know these guys know better, and we want to see better, of course, here tonight. In the sprint, it was Jerry, Blackbox, Elliott who took the top 3. In the end, somehow, Commentless got the win in the feature race. Jerry in second, Colsbury there in third. It was a real mad end in terms of the racing. Commentless won, just to give the full result. Jerry in second had a 5-second penalty. He remained in P2. Colsbury gained 2 positions up to P3. Hawk gained 3 positions up to P4. Neymar gained 3 positions up to P5. And Blackbox got a 10-second penalty for an incident with Colsbury for causing a collision, driving straight into Colsbury down the straight. I think that was in towards turn number 1. Elliott also picked up a 10-second penalty. He lost 4 positions, and Lynx in 8th lost 2 positions, and he also picked up a 10-second penalty. And in terms of the penalties, I think well deserved in terms of some of the driving that we saw definitely last week. And how that impacts on the drivers' standings is Blackbox still leading the way on 178 points, Elliott there in second on 153, and then Colsbury in third on 123. Volokongen in 4th on 94, Harry Banks there in 5th on 93. He is making his return after a month layoff tonight, so wait and see what Harry Banks can get up to, the former champion of TML. Lynx there in 6th on 83, Hawk in 7th on 67, Jerry in 8th on 55, Neymar in 9th on 53, and Scott Buckner in 10th on 52 points. Blackbox holds the lead, 25-point advantage, not enough for a race win advantage currently. Elliott there in second. These two didn't really see eye to eye given the racing, given the reports that we saw last week. Blackbox, though, has got the upper hand going into Silverstone.
Yes, he does indeed, and it looks like despite the offs that everybody really had in Monza, but particularly obviously Blackbox with that 5th-place loss after penalties, he'll be more than motivated to get that, to get some redemption for last week. Hopefully in the right way, obviously, because we don't want to see any of those standards again. We've made that very clear to ourselves and to the TIA. But obviously he'll be extra motivated for this race to put his error right and consolidate his lead at the top.
Yeah, definitely so. And looking at the constructor standings as well, we have got a little bit of a delay, I believe, to proceedings. We're just waiting on one more driver to join the lobby. Ferrari lead the way on 276 points. AlphaTauri there in second on 227. Now, that battle, I think, is going to go down to them two constructors in terms of that battle. And they can maybe, Ferrari, wrap up the championship. Don't think tonight, but certainly next week for round number 10. Aston Martin in 3rd on 145, McLaren in 4th on 100, Red Bull in 5th on 91, Alpine 6th on 82, Haas in 7th on 76, Mercedes 8th on 62, and then still the same old duel right down the bottom end of the field, Alfa Romeo and Williams on 45 points tied there for 9th position. We are now readying up, 16 drivers about to get ready, of course, here at Silverstone, 18 corners around a 5.8 kilometre circuit. Former airfield, of course, actually not the first British Grand Prix that was ever held at Silverstone. It was actually held at Aintree Racecourse now here in the UK. And that hosts the Grand National, famous horse race, of course, here in the UK now. So that was the first British Grand Prix. The first championship race was around here at Silverstone in 1950, of course celebrating 70 years just 2 years ago.
Yes, indeed, and it's one of obviously the most traditional venues around the Formula One circuit. It's held some of the most Grand Prix and also one of the most some of the most exciting Grand Prix in history. And as you mentioned with Aintree, we do also have a corner named after this famous venue which hosted the first Grand Prix. So even that gets its little recognition on the Silverstone circuit. And isn't that just great to see? We've got a lot of great corners, great corner names as well. It's just so much more enjoyable when you've got these names for corners for such historic venues. It's amazing in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely so, indeed. And I can actually name all corners, which I'm going to now, because I normally do at the start of every single stream. Beautiful blue skies and sunshine, by the way. No need for rain here in qualifying, which is good. Abbey, Farm, Village, The Loop, Aintree, Wellington Straight, down in towards Brooklands, then through Luffield, down through Woodcut, in towards Copse, the old turn 1, then down in towards Maggots and Becketts, out of Chapel, down the Hanger Straight, in towards Stowe, then through the Vale Chicane, then through Club Corner, and then you're back on the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight.
Ah, I'm glad you've named it Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight, because I do tend to forget about it, to be completely honest. But yeah, that's obviously very, very good, and we've got all the corners together. It's just such a brilliant circuit, isn't it?
It is indeed. Your man is going to be the first man out on track, the NLR man of Felix 1, who, of course, I think disappointed rather last week. I believe he did he DNF last week in Italy? I can't remember, but the Mercedes man, first man out on track. How do you rate his chances going in tonight? Because obviously you know him more than me.
In fact, it was actually NLR Most Wanted last week in Monza, because NLR Felix 1, in fact, is making his debut today.
Oh.
I'm not sure if you were aware of that one, because he is looking to get his no-assist racecraft a lot better than he has previously. Obviously, I've known him for also way longer than he has been involved in this racing space. And I'm really excited to see how he gets on today, because Silverstone, obviously a very flowing track, should maybe suit his style a little bit more. But obviously he is quite new to no assists. I know that obviously too. So it's going to be a big test, because who doesn't like Silverstone? There's going to be some very quick lap times posted today. So very, very tough first race, I'd say, for him.
Yeah, definitely so. Felix 1, though, in the debutant position. Maybe a baptism of fire potentially coming out on track tonight. But who knows? He is on that set of soft compound tyres. He is the first man out on track. And he's the first man that's going to grace our screens of a lap, of course, here at Silverstone. Looking through the comment section, by the way, May saying he will fix the lobby title, which is good. Or the stream title, I should say, which is good. And T-Hawk saying, hello and welcome to round 9, it should be, of the TML Demolition Derby Championship. And Blackbook saying, he's my #1 fan. Please acknowledge this comment. There you go, I've acknowledged the comment as we go on board with Felix Horn down in towards turn #1 at Abbey and then through turn #2 at Farm. All of that speed gets degraded away through the corner because there's a little bump, a little downhill section through the middle of Abbey, then in towards Farm, then through the village, in toward the loop section at turn #4, and drivers 210 to take the very wide out line to try and swing the car in and get the best exit through Aintree on the run now down the Wellington Straight, of course, formerly in the airfield, the Silverstone airfield that used to be held here in World War II, of course, part of the war the war effort, I should say, certainly in terms of the Allied victory, which is not that great because I've got a German commentator alongside me, so I shouldn't really mention that. Felix Von there coming through Woodcut on the run down in towards Copse, and he has looked quite good on this lap. Obviously just trying to get a measure of the track, runs a little bit out wide coming through Stowe, but I'm sure when he gets a bit of practice underneath him, just clips the grass there on the right hand side, now through Maggots and Becketts, this is the real test that car basically wants to kick out on you coming through the middle sector, and Felix One's not looking too bad. 103.5 is sort of the mid-pack we were seeing in the EML Premier 1 last night, so Felix One doing good on this lap so far. If I'm going to put a bet on it, I think it's a 27.8 potentially in terms of this lap from Felix out through Stowe, in towards the Vale Chicane, and then in towards Club Corner, and Felix One round the final corner on the run towards the line. Is it quicker than a 27.8? Yes, it is. 27.4. I really shouldn't put him under pressure there, but I did. Felix One though out on top, and there's a Red Bull coming around the final corner. I think that's a Neymar on the run towards the line for the Dane. He comes to the line, and he goes... Actually, invalidated through the final corner.
In fact, invalidates on the exit, so that is a pretty embarrassing mistake to make, if I may say so myself. Obviously, I've done enough racing myself to know How much
Jerry's
pain that
gone.
is. We've got McLaren, yeah. Indeed, Jerry, ooh. Exiting Stowe corner. That's a very unusual place to go off, to go so far into the exit of the corner.
Yeah, full 360 actually that was from Jerry. Of course, picked up P2 last week. Of course, was last in the feature race, came back from the back of the grid, and then pretty much redoubled his effort from coming back the back of the grid, given how much carnage there was in the feature race last week. Only 3 lap times on the board. Many drivers not getting a valid lap time in. Forza Brendan is one of them that is on a lap though. He's now coming to the right-hand return number 15. The Irishman looking to try and carry on his good form from League of Europe a little bit earlier on in the season. As the Irishman now comes through the final couple of corners. Boss Wanter going third there as well. Forza Brendan on the run to the line. He goes provisionally top by 100th of a second.
I'm gonna just quickly enable the gaps on my screen so we have this sort of split. There we go. And this indeed just 100th of a second between the top 2 right now, and I suppose it's gonna get even closer. Though mainly it's definitely gonna get a lot quicker as well. As for myself, my own personal best here is a 27.0, and I think we're definitely gonna dip into 26s here today with the quality of drivers we've got on the grid. So this is going to be a very, very quick progression of lap times in this qualifying session. I'm not seeing anybody on a super car. Actually, we do have Black Box right now heading through the middle sector. So let's have a look at his end of the lap.
Yeah, strong middle sector, 103.2, around 3 tenths up, in fact, on Forza Brendan through Stowe corner, so he's looking really good on this lap, maybe dipping into the 26s as you mentioned, as he now comes through the final couple of corners on the run towards the line. Black Box, I think, should go easily quicker here than Forza Brendan. He does indeed by 3.5 tenths per second. Brendan there not on a lap, just trying to flick on board with anybody else. I might be on a lap. Nathan Clark through the middle sector. Elliott is coming through the middle sector, and he's a 103.4 in the middle sector, so the Ferrari man not really latching up to the pace of Black Box, but this final sector can make or break a lap, that is for sure, as Black Box now out on top, Brendan in second, Felix 1 in third. Elliott though coming in towards the final couple of corners, the Frenchman, who has, got to be honest, has had a little bit of a real moment, let's just say, with the Talent Factory guys here in F1 as he goes to second, a 10.5 behind Black Box. And imagine if them two are on the front row of the grid. I think it's going to be quite juicy from the off if they are.
Obviously looking at last year as well with the 2021 lap 1 we've had in real life, you wouldn't want to imagine some of the scenarios that could be going down, but I don't want to place any curses on anybody, so we're just gonna hope that everything goes to plan here. We do have a lap time at the moment from Harry B. No, he's invalidated actually, so he's already invalid then through turn 1. I haven't seen that. So in fact nobody on the fast lap it seems at the moment.
Yeah, I think Jerry is potentially going to be the next one up on a lap. He's coming through Chapel, just on the exit of Chapel at this moment in time. Harry, though, has invalidated all 3 of his runs. He was going on consecutive runs just to try and get a little bit of practice in. He's invalidated on every single one. He has looked quicker, though, on one of his laps. So watch out for Harry Banks later on in the session, perhaps. Just to give a little bit of a momentum from last night in Premier 1. Nardi Perez, the FER man, was out on top Premier 1. 26.4 was pole position. Wow. I don't think we're going to see anywhere near that, to be honest. But Black Box out on top, Elliott second, Forza Brendan third, and he's my favourite to take pole position, Jerry, on a lap coming through Albion Farm.
I'm feeling like it could definitely be him as well on pole position, though. Jerry, we've seen him last week. He has been very quick over the race distance. Ooh, bit of a slide there, exiting the loop and onto entering in the Wellington Straight, but I feel like he could definitely be challenging up there as well. Obviously, very flowing circuit, Silverstone circuit is, and 27.4 in the first sector. That's a pretty strong time. Ooh, lost a bit of time there with a mid-corner oversteer. Maybe you even turned in too early. It's quite possible that to turn out of the corner. Wow, he's a very sketchy lap so far.
It is. I think he needs a different setup potentially on. Of course he can't because Parc Fermé is turned on in the lobby, so Jerry just has to try and make do with this lobby, with this setup. Runs wide coming through Cops, and that is him invalidated. If he didn't back off his lap already, he really struggling with that setup, and even more, and he absolutely hops over the grass there, over the bump on the grass, and Jerry pretty much goes airborne. Coming through the middle sector, luckily has kept the car going, not in the wall, luckily. Black Box out on top, Elliott second, currently Forza Brendan in third. Commenceless preparing up for lap, Neymar on a lap, and Harry Banks again has invalidated on another run, so he is really not liking things. Lynx, however, is on a lap, he's coming through Stowe.
It's a 103.4 in the middle sector, so it's not exactly looking too bad either. Could be looking at a front row here if he can beat Elliott through this final sector. Vale chicane. He needs to get a good exit here out of Club Corner and onto the Hamilton Straight. It's a very short run down the line, of course, and he does go third, only 2/100ths of a second off Elliott.
Yeah, not a bad lap there at all from Lynx, but I've got to be honest, he did not look comfortable coming through that final sector. Normally the car is pretty much hunkered down on a lap around here at Silverstone. He looked very, very cautious, I've got to say, coming through that final sector. I think he knows he can go better than that, and I would probably say if he can iron out those errors in that final sector, he's going to go easily to the top. I would say maybe around 3/10 improvement to come from Lynx.
And that would obviously put him into the 126s, so that means he's going to be probably challenging towards the sharp end, depending on what the likes of Black Box have to offer yet in this session. So it's definitely going to be very interesting. And as commentalist there, end of the middle sector has been around. Ooh, this is a very unusual place to spin as well, so not sure what happened there.
Yeah, race winner, of course, on penalties last week, car mentalist. He had no penalties. There was a Mercedes just come for a spin in the background. That was Felix 1, I think, preparing up for a lap. He's lost his front wing. The NLR man has just binned it halfway down the straight, and he's got beached on the grass.
Oh, now that is not a good place to be.
There you go.
Well, he had to reset, yeah, but he had nobody around him, so I suppose it's not exactly anything that will go down to stewards or anything, but obviously a very embarrassing mistake to make here in the middle of the straight. Possibly warmed up his tires just a little too much, and then lost his car and put that into the wall. Very, very, a bit of signs of insecurity from him, definitely today.
Yeah, definitely. So, Blood Mania, by the way, in the chat has said Black Box has more in the tank, proven by his first sector, 400s up, coming through the first sector, 27.4 from him as he now comes through Cop's Corner. Wow. That is so tricky, that curb to get right, as Boss Wanted goes third. Good lap time from him, the NLR man going into third. Of course, more drivers on laps at this point. We're on board with Black Box, though, coming through Maggots and Beckett, then through Chapel, and he's nearly spun coming through Chapel. How is that valid? It's obviously not going to be an improvement, but how is that still valid, even though he's cut across the grass? This game...
I mean, wow.
This game honestly befools me sometimes.
I was about to say that looked extremely committed from him, but obviously just took it over the limit ever so slightly on that attempt. Very unlucky, as that was a very weird frame that I just got.
Oh!
In the middle of the chicane.
Nathan Clark through the first sector. If he can put this lap together, 27.3 through the first sector. Wow. Purple out of everyone in the first sector. Nathan Clark, who has had good form around here last season in TML, looking to try, maybe can go provisional pole. Beautiful, coming out of Cops. Now on the run down through Maggots and Beckett, and then of course out of Chapel. But Black Box out on top, Elliott second, Boss Wanted and third. This is looking very committed so far from Nathan Clark. He's now coming through the exit of Chapel, and he's another one that spins on the exit of Chapel. And Nathan Clark not going to improve.
And he knows that he has to improve a lot. Currently obviously sitting in P10, which is the third slowest lap time that has been set at this point in time. Knows he's got more time in the tank, but he can't overcook it just yet. Maybe he's going to head into the pits straight away to get a new set of tires, yes indeed, and regroup for a final run that he will obviously have around 1 minute or so left in the session later on.
Elliott's going to go close to Black Box. Sorry to cut you off on the run toward the line, and he goes quickest, 27 flat, and Black Box now has got a little bit of work to do. Only 400ths of a second to gain. 400ths of a second around this track, though, is going to be very tough indeed. Jerry was setting a 27.3 in the first sector. However, he's invalidated, I think, on the exit of Luffield. So Jerry there down in 14th position, still without a lap time on the board. But Elliott now out on top. Black Box in second. Boss Wanted in third. There is I'm not going to call it a chasm of a gap between second and third, but there's quite a considerable gap that I think Lynx can possibly go into, and he's just preparing up for his lap now.
Yes, indeed, and you could see it, particularly in his final sector. There were a lot of twitchy moments. He looked quite cautious here on this exit of the Vale chicane and onto Club. So let's see what he has got left in the tank. Through turn 1, Abbey obviously have to cut that as much as possible over that curve. I don't like that you have to take it like this, but that's just how the game works. And that looks like a very good run, in fact. Goes very out wide here for the loop. Misses the apex maybe slightly, but that can get him some more momentum onto Aintree and the Wellington Straight. So let's have a look at his first sector time then.
Let's have a look indeed to the first sector split. 27.3, so he's up there. He's actually improving more than Black Box in that first sector. So if you can put this middle sector and final sector together, Lynx should be purring, maybe even towards the top end of the standings. I like that pun. Elliot out on top, Black Box in second, Boss Wanted in third, Lynx there in fourth. Lynx now on the run down in towards Cop's corner. Will go on board with the drivers as they go into laps. Been Mentalist is just preparing for a lap, and Lynx nearly invalidates coming out of Cop's corner. Now on the run through Maggots and Beckett. Looks a lot more committed, I think, on this lap. This just looks a lot better than what he was on. Through Chapel, beautiful out of Chapel, through the middle sector, 103.2. He's up there in this middle sector, and as long as he maintains his commitment all the way down in towards Stowe, and then through Vale and Club, Lynx potentially is going to go pole, but not like an exit of that.
Oh, that Stowe corner definitely will have cost him. But let's have a look. The Vale chicane will need to be very good, and the exit as well. Is he more committed this time? Yes, he is. Commentless up to second now with a great lap. And that is Lynx quickest on pole position at the moment.
Really close. And Commentless, as you say, going third. 2000s ahead of Black Box, who's still yet to come out the pit lane for another lap. Lynx out on top. Elliot now in second. Commentless there in third. Just trying to see if there's anybody else on a lap. Neymar is not on one. I think Yona is. TML F2 champion last season, of course. Yona is on lap. And do you know what? He is actually looking to try and put it up there towards the top end of the field. Now through the finals corners. Through Vale and Club, a little bit sketchy on the exit. Yona on the run to the line, and he goes second. Great lap from Yona. That's much more like the promise that he had at the start of the season. Lynx out on top, Yona second, Elliot in third, Commentalist in fourth, Black Box in fifth, and there's 500ths of a second covering the top five. This is mental.
And look, it's Scott Wagner improving as well, currently into the final sector. He's probably not going to challenge at the very top, but he could definitely slot himself right behind the top 5 if he maybe gets a good last sector. Ooh, P7 lost out a little bit there with a 27.3, but look, the gaps are so close around here, it's incredible.
It is really incredible indeed. Felix Warren has lost it coming out of Chapel. He's another one to be fallen once again coming out of that corner. Neymar's invalidated on a lap. Boss Wanted is on an outlap, I think, at this stage. Black Box is on an outlap. He's coming through Luffield. He's got a Ferrari of Elliot right behind him coming through Luffield. And Elliot is literally giving Black Box an absolute headache as Lynx retires into the pit lane. He thinks he's done enough. Obviously out of sync with everyone else in the rest of the field. Commentalist also retiring. They think they're done. Hopefully, they're not going to try and improve as Elliot and Black Box are thinking it's a 26-lap race.
You could say that, or on the other hand, it could be Elliot putting just a lot of pressure on Black Box, because eventually Elliot will need a gap for himself, but he maybe is trying to get ahead of that AlphaTauri to put him under some extra pressure for this lap. Now he does. Obviously good on him that he maintains this level of sportsmanship. But obviously the final laps, I'm surprised, to be honest, that we're not in the 26s yet, but we are so close with 5 drivers.
We are indeed. Jerry is the first man to go onto a lap. Black Box and the likes are coming through the final corner, so we'll have to be very quick in terms of changing in between drivers. But Jerry, hopefully got a setup sorted out now, coming through the first sector, coming through the loop, and then through Aintree Corner. Not looking too bad so far on this lap, but it's the middle sector and the final sector that might just really cost him in terms of his setup. First sector split, 27.3, he's up there.
He's a very good first sector time indeed. He might be set up for straight line speed, though we have seen quite a few 27.3s in the first sector now. So, very close to invalidating. But he has just about kept it within the white lines, and now we'll have to see how these tricky, fast sections are going to look for him. Looks like a pretty good Cop's corner to me, but now the S's will be crucial.
Here he goes, coming through Maggots and Beckett. Elliot, by the way, 27.5 first sector. Black Box 27.4, and only improving by 200 seconds. Jerry, much more committed, coming through Chapel. 103.1. This is immediately going pole position, even if Black Box and Elliot try and improve. Jerry is on an absolute stonker of a lap, as long as he can keep it good through Stowe, and then through Vale and Club. This is pole position lap here. Jerry in towards the final couple of corners, through Vale, then in towards the final corner at Club. A little bit sketchy on the exit, and he might have just thrown it away. Round the final corner, on the run to the line, and he doesn't. He goes quickest. Elliot improving. Black Box though through the final couple of corners. As Black Box now going to try and spoil the party. On the run towards the line. He does. He does. He goes quickest. Elliot now to the line. He goes third in the end. And Black Box in the end 26.8. We've got Nathan Clark and Dalfie, who were both invalidated on laps. Black Box out on top. In the end, I don't know how, he's 0.2 of a second ahead of Jerry. Very good laps by them all. Black Box, though, showing why he is championship leader.
Indeed, it looked like an extremely close affair at the very start, but now Black Box on this final lap has finally showed what he is made of, and that is a very, very convincing pole position. Almost 0.2 over Jerry in the McLaren in the end.
You've got to think, though, if Jerry didn't have that mistake coming out of Valen Club, possibly I think he lost him about 1/10 of a second. I don't think it would have been close to pole position, but it's the same old. Talent Factory 1-2. It's Black Box out on top, Jerry in second, Elliot in third, and this is going to be very interesting in terms of how we are going to see the start of this race obviously decipher through. Links in fourth, Yona there in fifth, Commentalist in sixth, Boss Wanted in seventh, Falls of Brendan in eighth, Scott Bugner in ninth, and Felix Swan on his assist debut and on his debut in TML F1. He's there in 10th, Neymar in 11th, Hawk in 12th, Nathan Clark 13th, Dalfie in 14th, Funky Chicken and Harry Banks didn't get valid lap times in. They're right down at the back of the field, but Talent Factory sandwich, you could call it, at the top end of the field. It is Black Box out on top, Jerry there in second, Lynx in fourth, and then Elliot in third, possibly in his favourite place on the grid, surrounded by Talent Factory drivers.
I mean, this must be really great for him. Obviously, he'd love to beat them, of course, but being right amid the pack there, that is going to be some extra motivation for him to try and beat all of them in this British Grand Prix to come. The qualifying times also didn't suggest that there would be any rain on the way there. Some might be going for a wet setup in that case, but it does look dry, however a bit overcast. So I think we're probably going to be in for a DRS train, maybe dry race for sure today.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, looking at the grid and looking in the pit boxes, I can certainly see Carlos Sainz is going to go on to a set of soft compound tyres in the Ferrari garage there. Neymar, I think, has got a set of hards on, certainly. Scott Bugner's also selected a set of hards. So if that's anything to go by, it should be a set of hards. Strategy calls, I think, around this track are going to be quite interesting. Same like EML Premier 1 last night, we should see drivers pinned in from just before the halfway stage. Around lap 12, lap 13 onwards, we will see pit stops happen. Of course, undercut strategies are very potent around this track, as well as the 5 red lights are about to go out here in TML F1. The 5 red lights now on here at Silverstone, round number 9 of the championship. And it is light down, away we go, and Black Box already gets a really good start, but Jerry is alongside him in towards turn number 1. Black Box holds the lead through Abbey, Jerry there in second, Elliot there in third. The top 3 hold on to their positions, Yona and Ling side by side. There's a bit of contact, I think, further down the field. Hawker spun in the background, but Black Box leads the way. Jerry in second, and Elliot already on the attack down in toward the loop, tries to get the job done on Jerry on the inside line. Room given, and Elliot should have this move coming through Aintree. Beautiful stuff. He's through and he's into second. Jerry on the back of him, though, has got slipstream effect, and he's got DRS effect of Black Box in front of him as well, as he now tries to go all the way around the outside, coming through Brooklands, tries to get the job done. Black Box still holding on to the lead. Elliot there in second, Jerry there in third. Majority of drivers are on that set of medium compound tyres, so might be a little bit of threat of rain in this race, but Elliot hangs on for second, and now he's on the attack on Black Box down in towards Cops.
And look at how close everybody is. There doesn't seem to have been any real big carnage, and the back is, look at this.
Oh no!
Run there for Elliot. Let's have a look. Is this going to be an invitation for Jerry? Ooh. So close racing here.
Really close racing indeed. Jerry right on the back of Elliot. If he stuck a nose in there, there would have been contact. Look at the straight line speed of Jerry. Where's this came from? Elliot's just sitting duck down the straight. Jerry through and he's into second. Elliot there in third. In setup called, Jerry has got the perfect setup in terms of straight line speed. It's the corners that's really good effect. Carl Mensels and Boss Wanted are side by side in the background as well. This is the end of lap 1. You thought it'd be the end of the final lap of the race. Black Box leads the way. Jerry in second, Elliot in third, Yona in fourth. Hawk's the only one, I think, that picked up maybe a little bit of damage. He's going to continue on, though, at the back of the field. Apart from that contact through turn number 1, beautiful racing. Black Box leads, Jerry in second, Elliot in third. A total difference compared to last week in Italy.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, if this is anything to go by, if it continues like this, we are in for an absolute treat. And with so many people on mediums as well, you cannot exclude a threat of rain in the end. As you said, only 2 drivers on the hard compound tires with Scott Bugner and who's that? That is Harry Banks. Ooh, McLaren, they're going for it. Yona and TF Links battling away into Lovefield and onto Woodcote.
Boss Wanted round coming through Brooklyn, so Boss Wanted round coming through Brooklyn. I'm not sure if he picked up any damage. I think he's just spun it by himself as Yona is actually through on Elliot. What on earth has happened to Elliot coming out of left field? Yona now through and he's into third. Link's into fourth. Elliot's had a huge mistake coming out of left field. Certainly affected the Ferrari, and he's now down in fifth and being chased down by last week's race runner of Car Mentalist.
And what's also not ideal in this situation is that the top three, and none of them in fact, would have DRS of each other at the moment. So currently it is, well, Yona would be under threat from the DRS, but look at Elliot. He is still trying to challenge Lynx here. Obviously not close enough yet, but it could well be a situation of keeping as close as possible and making those moves before possible rain kicks in.
Yeah, definitely so. Car Mentalist on the back of Elliot. Elliot already looking like he's under pressure. There's Lynx making a mistake just in front of him as well. And now they may be going side by side down in towards turn number 1, but they're not. And Elliot, in terms of straight line speed, doesn't have the straight line speed. It's the corners he really makes up the time. So expect him to try and be on the pace. Oh, as he gets, I think, tapped. Was that a snap of oversteer, or did he get tapped in the back there from Car Mentalist? One of the two things happened. I think it was a snap of oversteer. Elliot there in fifth. Yeah. Car Mentalist in sixth. Forza Brennan in seventh. Chased him down, and here comes Car Mentalist on the back of Elliot. And Elliot is just literally so slow down the straight line. Car Mentalist soon he's into fifth, and Neymar's round.
At the back as well, so I mean he won't have lost out too much for that. A relatively safe rejoin. Haas had to avoid a little bit of Hawk, but yeah, that's obviously driving all the way to the back. Oh, if you got another one there. Yeah, we do. I just missed that, I think.
So on the minimap, Dalphy, made a mistake coming out of Brooklands. I think he half spun it like Boss Wanted did. It was a full spin in terms of Boss Wanted. He's down there currently in 14th position. Yeah, May's suggesting maybe wet setup, potentially wet setups, but I don't see why we put a wet setup on in pretty much a dry start to this race. As he gets closed down by Forza Brendan, there was side by side, I think, further down the field. Was that Boss Wanted through on Dalphy?
Indeed, it was actually very ahead of the S's, so that's a very bold move to make from Boss Wanted. But yeah, it does look like Dalphy does have more downforce on his car and is looking to gain a bit more in the rain period, which supposedly is about to come later on. So this is going to be very crucial. How much time will those drivers lose on the supposedly wrong setup at the moment? Yeah,
I think in terms of Elliot, that DRS is really bringing him back into play potentially. In that Ferrari, though, he just looks like a sinking ship down the straight in terms of his setup. It's the best analogy I could probably use because he is so slow down the straight. Oh, and it's actually raining now out on track. Lap 4 out of 26. Raining already. Elliot with that wet setup on, so Mays was absolutely spot on. As now Nathan Clark and Scott Bugner are going to go on side by side in towards Brooklands. He's going to have to do it the hard way. Around the outside goes Nathan Clark on a set of mediums. Scott Bugner leaves absolutely zero room on the inside line. Nathan Clark still trying to battle, and Scott Bugner probably on the better tyres at this stage. Still through and he's into 9th, but that was aggressive, and now it's going to get even more aggressive because here comes Nathan on the back of Scott Bugner, defends to the inside line. Going to go around the outside like Leclerc in 2022, not quite. And now into the back into Beckett, so they're not going to go side by side into here. And now they've got Harry Banks closing up on the back, and Harry Banks goes to the inside line, makes contact, and he's in the gravel. He might get beached in there as well if he's not careful, but that contact was just not needed. Harry Banks had so much better closing speed compared to Nathan Clark, and Nathan Clark in the end pretty much makes contact with him. Harry Banks makes contact, and I think Harry's probably at fault because he stuck the nose down the inside.
Absolutely, and this is not a section where we'd usually see overtakes. We've got Nathan Clark as well with front wing damage due to that contact, so it's definitely not gone his way there. He would love it if that hadn't happened, but it's obviously out of his control. Very big shame for him. Nothing he could really have done there.
Yeah, definitely so. Black Box leads the way, 1.2 seconds over Jerry in second. Talon Factory currently first and second. Elliot there in sixth, being affected, of course, by his wet setup. But the rain is now falling. The intermediates are going to come on very soon indeed. And judging by the rainfall, it's not going to be too long before it actually wets the track. As Funky Chicken now is on the back of Scott Bugner, running down the straight, who comes all the way to the left-hand side. Funky Chicken on the inside line should get the job done. Scott Bugner there lagging slightly, and Funky Chicken through, and he's into 9th position.
Let's have a look at the downforce though, maybe from Scott Bugner. What kind of setup they are on compared to each other. It doesn't look like it's too big of a difference here. As a yellow flag in the back, that is Hawk around, I believe, in the back, yeah. Mistakes are being made in left field. It's a really tough corner, obviously. So you've got Nathan Clark and Neymar side by side. Losing the position is Nathan Clark, and down into 14th. It's going from bad to worse in this moment.
Yeah, gentleman's agreement, I think I can call it between that battle. I think Nathan Clark just let Neymar through, and then Neymar was like, no, you go first, and then Nathan Clark just let him through, and Neymar's in 13th. Gentleman out on track, which is good to see. Black Box, Jerry, and Yona currently in the top 3. Yona, as May said in the chat, said he was very strong around here in EML Premier 2, so Yona obviously liking the conditions, obviously liking the setup that he's on as well. Scott Bugner into the pit lane. This has got to be for Inters.
It has to be. It's definitely around this stage where a crossover could happen at any moment. Nathan Clark pits as well, though that could be down to his front wing damage too. So let's have a look. It is intermediate tires indeed from the Mercedes. I mean, what else was he going to go for at this point? So here we go. We'll see the true indication of what tire is currently better in the conditions. DRS is disabled. Perfect timing for Scott Bugner then.
Perfect timing for your commentary there, I think, as well. That was well timed indeed. Black Box leads the way. Jerry in second, Yona there in third. And now all of these guys have got to do half a lap. Scott Bugner and Nathan Clark have got to do a full lap, obviously, on those Inters. But they'll be better weathered in, you would imagine, towards the end of the lap. So potentially Scott Bugner could pick up a bit of an undercut strategy on the likes of Dalfi, on the likes of Boss Wanted that he was around. Jerry, though, all over the back of Black Box, coming through Maggots and Beckett. You can see how greasy the track is now. Coming through Maggots and Beckett, it's still rather dry through this part of the track. Black Box, though, holding the lead. Of course, DRS is disabled. Jerry, I don't think, is going to try and risk it down the straight here. Yona calls in very quickly, though, in behind, and I think all of these guys are going to be filtering into the pit lane, you would imagine, as Black Box is in. Jerry stays out!
Jerry? Now that is an interesting call from him. We'll see how that one pans out later on. Everybody else seemingly heading into the pit lane other than Jerry, maybe trying to avoid getting held up in that pit lane in the fast lane. It can happen. But, that's interesting. Nobody else seemingly staying out, so it's only his strategy call here.
Yona into the pit lane. Neymos picked up a 5-second penalty. Yona doesn't get held up in the pit, and he actually comes out ahead of Falls of Brendan, who's the one that has to get it really in a knock-on effect. Lynx is going to come out behind Yona as well, so not really the top protagonist being affected there. Elliot is now ahead of Commentalist, who's the one that's been held up. So Commentalist is the one that has lost multiple positions in that strategy call. So Jerry, now a full sector ahead, basically, of the front runners. 27 seconds. That gap goes over 30. He might be laughing in terms of his strategy goal here, but Jerry leads the way. Black Box in second, Yona there in third, and look at Scott Bugner, already ahead of Boss Wanted, and he's going to be on the back of Funky Chicken sooner rather than later.
Definitely will be. Will have his tyres up to temperature as well. Obviously, it's not that difficult. It's got a Williams there. It's got Nathan Clark in the back, spun around, exiting club corner. It's a very common mistake to make in these tough conditions. But obviously, the tyres warmed up for those who have been on them for one lap. That could be crucial for this very start of the stint.
Jerry, by the way, is trying to use up all the amounts of EOS. It's like Hamilton and Verstappen once again. Remember that 20-second gap and then that final lap puncture? It's a bit like this, to be honest, in terms of the strategy. Jerry nearly loses it coming out of Stowe. 26.5 seconds. He might be very lucky to come out ahead, maybe ahead of Yona and Lynx here. I think he's going to be in potential trouble to drop behind his teammates. I think he should have made the call to come in the pit lane first. Lynx should have then held on to another lap. And I think he still probably would have got ahead of Elliot if that was the case, as Jerry into the pit lane, onto a set of intermediate compounder tyres. I thought there were a set of softs for some reason there. He's going on a set of inters. Black Box is coming through Vale and Club already, so you'd imagine Black Box, Yona and Lynx are going to be well ahead, and Jerry might be coming out, maybe, side by side with Elliot, potentially.
Ooh, that's quite possible indeed. Felix around in the last sector. It looks like Jerry, if he has a good enough exit, might even come out in third here, ahead of his teammate. Yes, he is. So not quite the worst call they actually made. Like I thought it was wanted out of the race. There in
Scott Bugner.
Corner, that is. And
safety car. Yep, safety car right on track. Felix Swan caught up in a collision with Boss Wanted. Seemingly, Boss Wanted, I think, has spun. Felix Swan, wrong place, wrong time, I think, and that is why he has got no front wing, and that is why the safety car I thought was going to come across on him there. Goodness me! Safety car's driving so dangerously.
Oh my word!
What is Virtual Bert Marlander doing at this stage?
He's got
gonna
really quick, hasn't he?
I was going to say before that, before the safety car period, Black Box leads the way, Yona there in second, Jerry there currently in third. I was going to say, Jerry was going to be overtaken by Lynx there in fourth position. Jerry, though, now in third. I think that safety car has absolutely saved him.
I mean, well, he has been... he's kept the gap relatively consistent, actually, to his competitors. I've checked it over the lap, stayed on board with him, obviously used up all his ERS. Now that the safety car is out, he can obviously harvest all that energy again. That's probably the aspect that's going to be the most important here. And now it's going to be who has the best setup suited best to the conditions. Because this is going to be really crucial. Mostly relying on cornering speed, so I wouldn't think they'll be differing too much now.
Yeah, definitely so. Black Box leads the way, Yona in second, Jerry there in third. In terms of potential tyre-wear advantage for Jerry, I think he's potentially got around 4 or 5% over Yona and Black Box. Of course, Felix 1 is going to be coming in the pit lane. What on earth has happened to Neymar? Neymar... has he spun coming down towards Stowe? He's just lost the position to Felix 1. That was really strange. Felix 1 into the pit lane. Delphi also into the pits. I'm absolutely flummoxed as to what's just gone on there. Neymar there in 13th has lost the position to Felix 1. He's coming in the pit lane. And it is 5-second penalty for Neymar. He's obviously using that up. Is it going to be a front wing change?
I believe it's just getting rid of that 5-second penalty for him. I have seen Felix 1 without the front wing still going pretty deep into what would have been Brooklands on the previous lap, and had to give up some places as well to Dalfi, I believe, who is obviously now also in the pit lane, which is not ideal. But definitely without that front wing, really struggling, the German, but yeah, now it's going to be even more important to get to the back of the queue again, which is heading out of Cop's Corner already, as they are just in Sector 1 heading through the loop. So a big gap, possibly another lap of safety car action then.
I was running a ball there with Black Box. I thought he just nearly spun coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Does not want to be doing that. Black Box leads the way, Yona in second, Jerry in third. But yeah, we're going to be waiting maybe around another 2 laps, I think, for the safety car to obviously come back in with everyone on the back of this. Delphi, Felix 1, Neymar. As I say, absolutely flummoxed what happened with Neymar there. He went off the grass coming through Stowe, and then he was rejoining, so I'm not sure if he's had contact with Delphi, perhaps, if Delphi's gone a bit slow in front of him, and then Neymar's obviously had to put on the brakes and avoid him. Maybe that's happened, but Neymar has lost position to Felix 1 nonetheless, so Harry in 14th, Nathan Clark there in 15th, they've all came back into the pit lane as well. We're on lap 10 out of 26, just about to begin. Black Box leading the way, Yona in second, Jerry there in third, myself and Alex the G commentating on you for commentating on the action, of course, tonight here in Silverstone. And Black Box currently holding the lead, but I don't think nobody in the comment section, and certainly I think nobody in the commentary box here would have predicted Yona in second.
No, indeed not. He's made a really, obviously, good start, kept out of trouble, and jumped Jerry when it was the pit stop phase. We've got him. Ooh, some maneuver there at the back. I hope nothing is going to happen in regards to the illegal overtake glitches with Scott Buckner and Funky Chick. I've just seen them swap places, but it does seem to be fine at the moment. I've just seen that position change indicator pop up, so it seems to be all good. Clearly, Jonah with a very strong performance, second place, and could well be challenging. He did look a bit slow, I believe, in qualifying on the straight. Oof, Jerry to the inside. Did look a bit slower in qualifying on the straight, so it could indicate that he was running a setup more suited to the current conditions. But that'll be that's obviously remains to be seen. Black Box faster on the straight could have that advantage in a straight line, which may just see him through for this one, but obviously still well over half the race to go, and we can't predict anything just yet.
Yeah, definitely so. The live chat, by the way, this message has not come through, but it's from Jav, and he says, "Love me a wet Brit." That's terrible, Jav. He's Spanish, so I can understand why he's made that comment, but come on, you know better than that. We know he knows better than that as well. Absolute child in the comment section there. Black Box leading the way from Yona in second, Jerry there in third. Nathan Clark still hasn't rejoined on the back, but I have a feeling the safety car is potentially going to come in this lap. Nathan Clark is off the back end. Still 16.1 seconds off the back, and Black Box still leading the way from Yona there in second, and then Jerry there currently in third place, as Nathan Clark is not going to join on the back of the safety car, so therefore we're going to be under another lap on this safety car at this moment in time, and Black Box was trying to juke Yona and Jerry to come in the pit lane. Unfortunately for them, they knew absolutely better than that. Black Box leading the way, Yona there in second, Jerry there currently in third, and Jav saying as well, to backtrack on that comment that he's just put, Wet Silverstone, always class, and Nathan Clark saying he's got wing damage, so the rear might be a bit loosey-goosey, so that's why he's off the back end of the field.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to help, particularly in these difficult conditions. Oof, almost losing the car on a club corner, so it's definitely going to have to take it very easy and hope to just profit of incidents. It does look very sketchy, doesn't it? So he's going to have a big task to keep that car even on the circuit at this point.
Yeah, definitely. So, at the moment, Black Box leading the way, Yona in second, Jerry in third. I wish I could actually bring you more action, but we can't because we're under the safety car still. Safety car, though, should be coming in this lap. Jav saying, instructing Nathan to catch the safety car. Of course, a comment coming from the former Relentless team manager, now former Relentless team manager, so I think there's a little bit of a story to go on with that. But clearly instructing Nathan Clark to get on the back of the safety car, which I'm glad to say he has actually caught back up. He was in AI, obviously sending that message, and then has joined the back of the safety car queue in behind Harry Banks. And Harry Banks normally cautious off the start, so Nathan Clark just got to be wary, I think, of that. Black Box leading the way, Yona in second, Jerry in third. Proud to say, hopefully, if there's no safety car glitch, we should be getting going this lap. Have you just seen something in the background there?
No, it was actually Black Box warming up his tyres rather erratically in the middle of Cop's corner. That looked very interesting to me. I would certainly not do that if I were in this situation. But yeah, obviously needing the tyres to be as warm as possible for this restart. Now we can see the steering already going on. The burnouts are happening as well, as the safety car is probably about to peel off into the pit lane, leaving Black Box to do the restart at his own speed.
Yep, safety car in this lap. Black Box out on top. Yona in second, Jerry in third, so Black Box now virtual Bert Malmander. He's now the virtual safety car. Jerry in behind, though, looks absolutely wanting to get on with this. He has got a lap fresher tyres compared to the rest of the field. He's got Yona and Black Box's number potentially. Safety car now coming back in the pit lane. Is Black Box going to decide to go a little bit early? There's a bit of a gap between Elliot and Forza Brendan, I think, further down the field there. But Black Box is going to wait and wait and wait until his heart's content and then go maybe into the exit. Now in towards the entrance of Vale Chicane. Black Box leads the way from Yona in second, Jerry there in third. We get back underway here to Green Flag Racing at Silverstone, and it's a great restart by Black Box, not so by Yona, who has a huge snap of oversteer at the final corner, and he's got Jerry all over his back end down towards turn number one, tries to get the job done, doesn't, and now with the slipstream effect, now with the wet conditions, the spray being kicked up through turn number one. Commensalist on the back of Brendan as well. He's going to try and go around the outside, but he doesn't get the job done. Very safe restart from everyone. Felix Swan on the back there of Hawk as well. Not going to get the job done, as Elliot now forces the move on Links, who I think makes a mistake. Elliot to the inside line of Links, coming through Wellington onto the Wellington straight. Jerry now is catching the back of Yona as well, down in towards Brooklands, trying to get the job done. He's not. He actually goes to the inside line, tries to get the job done. Links is through, I think, on Elliot in the back end of shot, but now here comes Jerry, side by side, coming through Brooklands, now through the right-hander of Luffield. Black Box leads the way by a second. Yona there in second. Jerry in third. Huge snap of oversteer out of left field. Elliott still held on to fourth somehow. Ling's still in fifth position. Elbows out on the restart. Black Box leads Yona in second. Jerry in third. For the most part, very good restart. And Jerry's all over the back of Yona.
Oh yes, indeed. He's looking to get past that Red Bull as quickly as he possibly can. And he does seem to have quite a bit more grip than Yona at this moment, as Yona already a second behind Black Box. Nathan Clark in the back having a little mistake there again, exiting Cop's corner. But I think one to watch in this situation will be Elliot, who's got more grip in the corners. We've seen it in qualifying, definitely a bit slower on the straights than the others, but that will come back to him in the corners, as he is definitely trying to close in on that top three and maybe even reduce the deficit on Black Box, though he is looking very, very solid at the top.
Yeah, he is. It's just lost by about 0.2 of a second. Black Box now leads by 9/10 from 1.1 seconds at the start of the lap. Yona there in second, Jerry there in third. Nathan Clark's going to retire, I think, into the pit lane. He has cried enough, and unfortunately, yeah, too many mistakes, I think, for Nathan Clark creeping in after what could have been a very good qualifying session. You've just seen something?
Yeah, it was Jerry getting onto that outside entry curb for the, what is turn 3 called? Village, there we go, that's what it was. Into Village, he's caught that outside entry curb and he's had to catch a big snap of oversteer on the corner entry, so very good job from him to hold that car. I have spun it across there already, so it's a very good job, very good car control from him. And now look, he's already right on the back of the Red Bull.
Neymar's had a moment further down the field as well, maybe with Felix 1, and just nearly locks up into the back of Harry Banks there, so Harry's through, and he's into 12, Felix in 13, Neymar certainly spun, he's there in 14, and Felix, and now Jerry right on the back of Yona, down the inside and towards Cops. I thought he was going to get the job done, puts Yona out wide though, and Jerry switches back to the inside line. This is perfection from Jerry, what a move that is. Jerry Thuney's into second, put Yona into a real full sense out on track, and Jerry Thuney's into second. One mistake too many, and that was all because of Jerry's doing. Beautiful stuff. Jerry there in second, Yona in third, and if any critics come out and say that was a forceful move there from Jerry, you can sit down and you can shut up, because that was racing.
That was fantastic from him indeed. He scared him into that little mistake, going slightly wide in Cobb's corner, and then got the job done on the exit into the S's. A brilliant move from him. He can now get after Black Box in the lead of this race, and he's looking really strong on pace right now, isn't he?
The pace of him, he's already now within 0.8 of a second on the back of Black Box, and he's got, remember, a straight line speed setup as Lynx has had a huge moment out of the final corner. Falls of Brendan now through, the Irishman into 5th position, Lynx the Brit down into 6th, and he's got another Brit, or a whole host of Brits in fact in behind. Comments to the Funky Chicken and Scott Bugler joining in the play as well, as Lynx obviously not purring out on track at this stage, but he's there in 6th position on the back of Falls of Brendan. Not going to get the job done though, I don't think. Down and towards Brooklyn as Harry Banks is through on Hawk. That was down the inside line. I think of the loop. That was a dive bomb, I think, from Harry. Good stuff from the former TML F1 champion. He is through there, and he's into 11th, of course, with that penalty overhanging him. And speaking of the penalties, as Hawk tries to go to the inside line once again. Didn't get the job done. Thought he was, but he didn't. And the penalty scenario, Dalfi, Harry Banks and Neymar all on 3. Everyone else hasn't got a penalty so far, as Jerry is all over the back of Black Box. This is not Talent Factory at play. This is going to be Talent Factory at play for the race lead. And I think Jerry is a lot quicker than Black Box, as he's just made a mistake coming through Maggots.
Jerry has definitely been held back behind the Red Bull of Yona, so it was crucial for him to get past. And look, he's taken so short to already get on the back of Black Box. Obviously, you can see the difference in straight line speed, as that is Black Box pulling away by at least a tenth, even around 2/10. But in the corners is where Jerry is gaining the soul back. Oh! He has a massive snap! And that has undone his progress. Oh my word, how has he kept that out the barriers?
That is an unbelievable save from Jerry. Commentator's Curse Ultimate Edition, I think, there.
Yes,
Black Box leads away. Yona in second, Jerry in third. We were saying he was good through the corners, and then he ended up doing that coming out of Stowe. Jerry there in third. He has got a lot of pace. He just needs to bide his time, I think, in this race. There's still 12 laps to go in this race. He's now got his long-term enemy out on track, and Elliott right behind him out on track. And again, we come full circle with Talent Factory first and third. Yona's in there in the middle, and then Elliott's on the back of them, now in P4. But in terms of his setup, Elliott, he's losing so much time down the straight.
He is indeed. It's definitely not looking too good for him in this moment, and even in the corners, you couldn't see him gain back that much, could you? So it's not been the best setup choice. Though, in all honesty, I'm really surprised that Jerry is keeping up so well in these wet conditions. We've seen already how sketchy that setup has been. In the dry qualifying session. We have seen it now in the race as well, obviously. But, yeah, it's definitely a very sketchy choice. But if it is making him quick, if it's making him confident, then let him go for it. Look at Jonah closing in on the back of Black Box. So Black Box is currently struggling for pace, isn't he?
He is. Black Box really struggling. It's that middle sector, I think, that hangs him back. Yona is going to come down in towards Stowe, but I don't think he's going to get the job done. And then Jerry, with a 0-0 wing seemingly running down the straight on the back of Yona, thinking about trying to get the job done. And I think the rain is beginning, if I'm not mistaken, to get a little bit heavier out on track. So maybe there is an argument that we can go to full wets before the end of this race. But then through this part of the track, as Jerry fights the car consistently coming out of Vale and Club, somehow keeps it in the straight line. Somebody that hasn't, though, is Felix Swan, down at the back of the field, who spun, coming through Vale and just through Stowe, in fact. So Felix down at the back of the field there in 14th. As I say, that baptism of fire coming, I think, coming back maybe maybe to bite him there in down in 14. But Jerry all over the back of Yona, as Neymar's now spun, coming to the final corner. Black Box leads, Yona second, Jerry in third. And Jerry now trying to wrestle that car back under control, but everyone's staying as they are.
Yeah, one thing to remember, of course, as well with these setup choices, the lower wings you go as Yona goes a bit deep into Brooklands there and through left field. Jerry's all the way over him. Oh, it's a bit of a snap of oversteer there for Yona, but I don't think that's anything really working. But what we have to keep in mind about the setup, so lower the wings, the more sliding would obviously be going on. Here comes Jerry, again with the similar move to what he has made work previously. Can he make this work into the SS now? To the outside of this first one? No, he backs out of it for now. Definitely the sensible choice in this situation.
Really sensible. We saw Harry Banks obviously go for a spin coming through there. He stuck his nose down the inside lane, and now he's down in 11th and trying to chase off the rest of the guys in behind. Scott Bugner, by the way, I think has got a little bit of damage potentially on that car. He did lose the position to Dalfy, and Scott Bugner is dropping back consistently. 1.6 now the gap. He certainly had a moment, I think, coming out of Aintree, and he's right down the back of the field as Jerry tries to put Yona again under a lot of pressure. But still,
right at the back, Felix and Neymar battling it out there for 13th place.
Oh, Neymar's round.
Ah, that's unfortunate. We've had a really good battle through cops as well. So good driving from the pair of them until obviously that mistake for Neymar happened. But just a little bit of action. I thought I'd just catch on. Elliott, 3-second penalty though. That will not do his race any good, is it?
Now he's having fourth. Felix Warren has retired off track. Coming through, and it's a safety car.
It's a full safety car. Is that? Oh, that's a very unusual place to lose it. Has he really retired out of choice there? I'm not too sure about this one.
Oh, and Harry Banks has picked up a 5-second penalty for a collision with Scott Bugner. And Scott certainly does, if not, have damage already on that car. I think it's left side end plate. He might be missing a winglet off. But Felix Warren out of the race. He was in a fight with Neymar. Wet. I think he's lost it. As Neymar, yeah, he's going full wet. Right down the back of the field. And now Scott Bugner has let Harry Banks through, and they're having a gentleman's agreement once again out on track. Black Box leading the way, Yona in second, Jerry in third. Welcome to the Madhouse, by the way, if you are seeing how many bots that we've got in the chat. Apologies, because we are not on a subscribers-only chat here tonight, which would eliminate all of them. 3 already, and counting. So if you are playing the sex bot shot game, then you can already have quite a few. As there's another one. There's 4. So if you're not drunk by the end of this race, then don't blame it on me, blame it on the bots.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's usual practice. Once the moderators have sorted that out, we won't probably escape those anyway, so just let them be. Suppose they may be bumping up the view count for a short amount of time. Oh, Blackbox faking into pit lane again. Yona coming in though. Has he fallen for the fake, or was that a choice by himself? He is currently the only one to make that pit stop. Only Williams falling in behind that is Dalfy. So
pressure enters.
Oh, Dalfy's out. Ooh, okay.
But yeah, retired on the pits. Should he enters? Full wet?
It is indeed.
Really?
It's full wet. Oh. Okay, so this is a big gamble for these last few laps, isn't it? We've got a Mercedes in, Scott Bugner as well, Harry Banks, Hawk is into the pit lane, everybody at the back now, seemingly having nothing to lose, going onto those full wet tyres, so we'll have a look at how that is going to pan out. Actually, Scott Bugner, new intermediates, so he thinks the intermediates are going to remain better towards the end.
Hawk, I think, is also going to be on full wet, so Hawk into the pit lane, full wet. It's only Scott Bugner, who I honestly think has done the sensible thing and go for that set of inters. There's obviously a crossover period between the inters and the wets, but it is so hard in terms of a crossover period between the inters and the wets. You can't really decipher who is going to be on the quicker tyre. Yona has obviously gone for broke. He's gone for full set of wet compounder tyres. I think, on the face of it at this moment in time, it's the wrong call. He's there in 8th position. It's the wrong call, but the rain has got a lot heavier out on track compared to even a couple of laps ago. Coming to Luffield, he's at slow speed. It looks like it's easing off. And that just seems to me as if it's the wrong call. Now he's getting up to speed. Obviously the rain is going to be a lot heavier. But I'm absolutely flummoxed as to why he's gone for full set of wets. In fact, I'm flummoxed for a majority of the guys who's gone on full set of wets. I think it's the wrong call.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very interesting one. as the pace of these tires is going to be very close, unless it starts absolutely hailing it down now. As migrating host, I hope that does not cause any issues. Yona has left the session. Ooh, let's hope that is nothing to endanger the lobby here.
He won't have an invite, so I'm going to go blue screen quickly, and I'm going to try and get him back in if I can. Now, this same thing happened. We had a migrating host on Tuesday in SRC, and the race got cancelled as a result. I'll just be honest with that. What is Yona's rest of his PSN name? I've got X_Yona, but I haven't got the rest. 98. 98, yeah. Oh, it says he's already joined. That's great.
He's got that spare invite possibly lying around. Ooh.
He hasn't, he's the lobby host. He can't get back in. Unless somebody else can invite him.
I mean, I can try it. Let's have a look.
His AI is just slowing down absolutely belligerently out on track. And Scott Bugner's trying to go through, and he can't because he's there. And all of this is going to cause a big knock-on effect. Hawk and Harry Banks can't get through either. Neymar can't get through. 4 drivers are going to be held up in this train by Yona as he's joined, which is good.
Ah, that's good. Okay, I thought that was a problem that he was in fact the lobby host, but he is back in, and I hope that hasn't caused any issues, as I said. But yeah, you never know with this game, do you?
Scott Bugner, Yona's AI is now going ahead of Funky Chicken if he's not careful. He's now rejoined the session, he's realised it, and now he's taking control of his car. Nearly inside of Funky Chicken. Scott Bugner in turn, the corner before, went inside of him. I think, the Sex Boss is doing something to our racing now under the safety car. Black Box leads the way. Jerry in second, Elliott in third. And Neymar's coming through Luffield. Are we going to get the safety car in this lap? I think we might.
I think we might, yeah. It's just, Funky Chicken leaves the session as well. That is not good right before the restart. But I do believe we might have a safety car coming in on this lap, and the 4 wet tire runners will be hoping that these tires will be the better choice. As Yona has slowed down massively behind Funky Chicken. That is not good for him. But let's see, is the safety car indeed coming in? Could be a late call here. Yes, it is. Here it is then. Bernd Mailänder is pulling into the pit lane and will release Blackbox into that position to control the pace and go whenever he desires.
And Blackbox immediately, he was right on the back there of Blackbox. Jerry and Elliott second there and third. Blackbox is now honestly wanting to just get on with things. He just wants to get racing, and now he's going to get racing as he comes through Valen Club once again. Blackbox leads the way from Jerry there in second, Elliott there in third, and already look at the gap, it's a second. Jerry is so slow and sliding out of Vale. Goodness me, Jerry sliding out of Club, just about keeps it in the straight line in second. Elliott there in third, falls to Brendan in fourth. And then Links in fifth, Comments in sixth, Chicken there in seventh. Yona at this moment in time, there's no crossover period apart from Scott Bugner going down the inside line, and that might be all you need to know about what tyres you should be on. Inters clearly the better for Scott Bugner as Harry Banks just forces the Warner Hawk down the inside. In the background, the Brit down on the inside line. Hawk realises he's there. Hawk normally doesn't give him much room, and Harry Banks now is going to have to fight for this one. Down the Wellington Straight, passing through the borders of Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire as Hawk tries to go around the outside of Brooklands. Harry Banks on the inside line. Should try and hem him out on the outside. Harry's still there on the outside line. He has to snap of overseer as well. He's still there. Hawk shuts the door. Haas and Aston Martin still side by side. Making more contact. Harry Banks now is going to get the run. Surely on the outside of Cobbs. This should be job done. Hawk back down the inside line. Comes from an absolute mile back. And now Neymar's going to get in the position potentially as a result. Harry Banks and Hawk still side by side. Coming through Maggots and Beckett. They don't know where each other are. And Harry Banks falls off track, and Hawk, I think, they'll be putting blame on each other there, and Harry Banks certainly cuts across the grass, if not cuts across the track there, and has gained maybe an unfair advantage.
Car medalist just going up to P5 there, past Links, but of course, yeah, it didn't look too great there, that little sequence of battling. Funky Chicken's AI now dropping back, of course. That is very unfortunate for him to leave, to get disconnected possibly from the session in this very late lap, in this very late stage of the race. But obviously, what's also important to note about setups now is that you do usually need fairly high tire pressures to make these tires switch on. So is that going to be a factor for some drivers? Will they be struggling to warm them up? That will be a big question as well, though Black Box is looking very solid again in that lead of the race. But 14-lap-old intermediates, he's going to feel the effects of tyre wear relatively soon.
They're all going to feel the effects, to be honest, of the tyre wear. Yona, by the way, lost 2 seconds on that lap compared to Scott Bugner. Clearly the Inters are still within the crossover period. And I've got to argue, even on the slow-speed corners, the rain is heavier, but it's also a little bit lighter on tracks as well, as Harry Banks there in 9th, Funky Chicken in 10th, Hawk in 11th, Neymar there in 12th. Further down the field, we're looking quite close. Jerry now seems to have lost all sorts of confidence there in 2nd. He's trying to chase down Black Box. He's got a lot of EOS, though, to burn to try and break that down, as Yona has crashed coming down the Luffield. And that might be a safety car. It is indeed a safety car.
Another safety car right at the end of this British Grand Prix, and now we will truly see what the better tyres are going to be. Scott Bugner could well be in with a slight advantage here over the rest with his fresh intermediate tyres. The only one to be on a new set of intermediates after that safety car. You never know what he could pull out of the bag here. But that tyre wear, he closes in on Lynx a bit quickly there. That tyre wear for everybody else will be a crucial factor in these final few laps, unless obviously we will see more pit stops. And I'm looking at Black Box here, who has definitely faked out Yona on that last phase, and is trying to do the same again. Doesn't succeed this time.
Yeah, didn't work this time. Yona, by the way, has left the session. I thought there was somebody coming in the pits there. I thought it was Lynx, but it's not. Scott Bugner in 7th, Harry Banks there in 8th. Anybody going to come back in the pit lane? Yes, Hawk's in. Hawk back in the pit lane is obviously watching the stream and obviously listening to my comments saying the Inters are probably quicker. Now, I've said that. The rain is getting a little bit heavier down the straight. So Hawk has got a little bit of a decision to make now. Is he going to go back on that full set of wets, which clearly weren't working, or is he going to go for a set of Inters? And the answer is a set of intermediates. And I think probably the right call to the end of the race, because I don't think the rain's going to affect the track that much.
No, it doesn't seem so indeed. And even if it did, it's with the safety car, I suppose staying out another extra lap, maybe. It's going to be 3 laps of racing. How many spots are you going to make up with new full wet tyres? I don't think it's really worth it to go for these tyres now. Even if the track is good enough for them, it would have to be a torrential downpour towards the end of this British Grand Prix for it to really be worth it.
Yeah, definitely so. Indeed, Black Box leads the way from Jerry in 2nd, Elliot in 3rd. It's the same old 3 at the front end of the grid once again, which should be quite interesting throughout this race. Funky Chicken, by the way, has not managed to rejoin. I think his internet has potentially gone down, so that's why he's there down in 9th position. Hawk, by the way, coming back to his comment that he said at the start of the stream, hello and welcome to round number 9, the TML Demolition Derby. He also said in the F1 chat as well, where is it? Let's have a look. 17 drivers. Going to be interesting to see who of us actually makes it to the finish. Probably no more than 10. Well, one off.
It is indeed a very tight prediction from him. And it could yet happen still, because the mindset of these drivers is going to be one of 2 things. Either bring it home safely, try to consolidate their position, or absolutely go for it. And I have experienced it myself. It can be a very pleasant experience for somebody who just wants to bring it home.
Oh,
there is a pit stop.
Comment list.
Ooh. Now what tyre is that going to be?
That's
so late into the race. Does he think the full wet is better?
No, this will be much fresher Inters. This is a really bad call from Carmentus. He has looked at this strategy call and think, what the hell am I doing? Quite literally, I think, is what it's probably going to be. Into the pit lane.
Full wets.
Full wets?
Now they must be thinking that the track will indeed get bad enough for the full wet tyres to switch on properly. I'm just not so sure. It's only 3 laps to go probably after the safety car. Maybe 2 if he gets lucky enough, but even then, 2 it's just 1 lap less to overtake people. I'm not too sure about this strategy call, in all honesty. Yeah,
and to be honest, he's right down the back of the field. I think it's the wrong call in his own right, because I think he's just thrown... The rain, by the way, is a lot heavier now out on track, granted, so that's why he's obviously came into the pit lane. But he has just potentially blown a top 5 finish to now finish potentially in 11th position. I know the guys have got penalties ahead, but are those tyres going to be good enough? Now, it was around a 2-second differentiation in terms of the tyres, as Scott Bugner and Harry had just changed positions in the mid-pack.
Oh, no.
And Commentalist there has got to realise now, is the wet now the better tyre? It will be very keen to see. It should be Harry Banks first that we get to see what tyres are better. If he drops off the back of the safety car restart, then give it a little bit of time, because Harry Banks obviously will try and catch back up the back of Scott Bugner. But if Scott Bugner's pace is there, on that set of inters, remember, fresh set of inters, he might just try and throw up the books here. He may be in a position, actually, to win this race.
I think someone like Hawk as well does have a lot of potential to move up some places with the very fresh intermediates. 1 lap only on them, and the safety car is coming in, giving us 3 more laps in this British Grand Prix, and a fairly colourful mix of tyre compounds on the grid now. So this is going to be very interesting. Black Box one more time is going to get released from Bernd Mailänder to dictate the pace of the pack behind him. How early is he going to go this time?
One thing that is consistent though with the safety car restart, Black Box has wanted to get on with things once again, and Jerry right back, and immediately, he puts on the throttle, and Jerry is right there, underneath the slipstream, coming through the right-hander now of Vale, and then in towards Club Corner at the final corner, and Black Box out of shape there slightly, leads the way, coming out through Vale and Club. Black Box leads until lap 24, Jerry in second, Elliott there in third, but that 3-second penalty, he is going to have to hope for a bit of a minor miracle. Harry Banks, by the way, is already on the back of Scott Bugner. Funky Chicken's AI has just gone completely off track. Scott Bugner now down the inside of links. He is one to watch out for in this race. Harry Banks now tries to go to the inside line. Doesn't get the job done. A little bit of a flickering effect there from the wet compound. And Scott Bugner spins in front of Harry Banks. Harry has done so well to avoid that in 6th position. But now, he's on that fresh set of wets. Lynx is on that set of wearing inters. This is where the tyres are going to be at a good effect. And already... well, I was going to say already he's catching, but at the moment, there seems to be no effect. And Commentalist has gained 2 free positions, by the way, for the price of 1.
That is obviously a good restart for Commentalist, but are those forward tyres going to come into effect enough? Look,
he's going around the outside.
Hawk now into Cops.
Tries to go around the outside, he might go for the switchback. Hawk on the inside line blocks the entrance into the corner. And to be fair, that was smart driving from Hawk. Commentalist there on the back there in 9th. Funky Chicken in 10th, who is in aero mode and is actually outpacing these guys for a little bit of pace coming through Maggots and Beckett. Black Box leads. Just made a mistake there coming out of Chapel, I think. Jerry there in 2nd, Elliott there in 3rd. It's the same old 3 in the first 3 positions. Here out on track at Silverstone. Black Box leads the way, and I think for Jerry's effect to try and come in on these set of inters, it's not really going to work because Black Box now has the pace as Elliott tries to dive down the inside.
I tried to have a look there to maybe surprise Jerry and scare him into a little mistake, but the gap didn't quite open up for him, and he's trying to make the best of these intermediate tyres. Now I'd imagine they'd be really struggling around this track. Some people on 4 wet tyres already, so that means that the aging intermediate tyres are only going to get worse for the current conditions.
Commentalist! Down the inside of Hawk, tries to get the slingshot, coming in towards Village in the loop, and he comes up the inside line, makes contact with him, he's still on the outside. Scott Bugner just gets in for a little bit of a ping-pong effect, and he's going to try and make 2 for 1. Scott Bugner and Commentalist teaming up on Pua Hawk. The Pua German now down in 8th position. That's what you get when you come to Britain. Scott Bugner there in 8th, Hawk there in 9th, Commentalist in 10th, and he's still trying to go around the outside of through Brooklyn, and there's more contact, and Commentalist gets just about ahead. Hawk's still on the inside line, trying to give all in terms of his racecraft. So far, Black Box leading the way, Jerry in 2nd, Elliott there in 3rd, and now Commentalist is going to try and outdo Hawk in terms of the pace. Around the outside in towards Cops. Gets the job done.
No chance this time for Hawk indeed, although Commentalist does go slightly off track, so Hawk senses his opportunity again. He's trying to make it work. No, that was inevitable. Yeah, that was way too optimistic from Hawk, and that means currently Funky Chicken with his AI in P10. I'm just pointing out, right? So, very interesting scenes here, but Hawk, that was very, very quick, very rushed to make that overtake into the S's. He could have waited a little bit longer with that one, as Black Box about to enter the final lap of this Grand Prix. The British Grand Prix, he's led almost every lap, so here he comes.
Scott Bugner down the inside of Neymar coming through Vale and Claw. Beautiful stuff from Scott Bugner. Through and he's into 7th. That's the Inters against the Wets. The rain is beginning to slightly ease off coming down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. Links on the back of Forza Brendan. Not entirely over and done with for 4th and 5th position either. Black Box leads. Jerry in 2nd. Elliot in 3rd. You can probably count him out of that first 2 positions. He just simply has not had the pace here tonight. No working for Talent Factory whatsoever tonight. It has just been done in pure pace. Black Box leads. Jerry in 2nd. They've had the better call. Elliot's strategy call. Elliot's setup basically came all the way from his downfall in qualifying, down on that straight line speed in the early parts of that race as well, losing 3 positions off the line. He's there in 3rd. And his setup is his own volition, I think, here tonight, which is unfortunate because we know what Elliot is like in terms of the pace. Jerry, though, is still trying to chase down Black Box for the race lead, coming through Cop's corner. This is not over and done with in terms of the battles, as Lynx is trying to go for the move on Forza Brennan, just coming through Cop's there, but Black Box and Jerry now all over the back of Black Box. He's sliding all over the place. This is the lap pressure tyres coming into play. Jerry might have him coming out of Chapel. This is going to go all the way down to the wire. He's got the EOS now in effect. Black Box 3/10 of a second. Jerry's got very good closing speed. Not this time around. Down in towards Stowe. And Black Box actually takes the wide out line. Jerry has got to try and go for the move. Oh, they're looking for the photo opportunity here for 1st and 2nd. Black Box now into the final couple of corners. Goes deep. Jerry now around the final corner. Putting the pressure all the way to the line. Another lap, it might have been different, but Black Box to the line takes it away in Silverstone. Scott Bugner picks up a 10-second penalty, but Black Box wins. Jerry there in 2nd. Forza Brendan, the Irishman, is on the podium, I think for the first time all season in TML F1. He finishes in 3rd. Elliot's downfall with his setup there in 4th. Black Box, though, won. Jerry in 2nd. And I've got to be honest, I'm not sure if they were looking for the photo opportunity. If they were, then it wasn't really well put on. But if they weren't, Jerry would have got him next lap.
Yeah, I believe so as well. Jerry did look extremely quick in this final safety car restart and put pressure on Black Box all the way. But it was just not quite to be for the McLaren driver, and the AlphaTauri does come out on top again to extend his championship advantage. Elliot did get a bit lucky in the end with all those penalties. They only lost 1 place to Forza Brendan, who sensationally really makes it onto that podium. It's a great drive from him, keeping out of penalties, and a very well-deserved podium for him.
Yeah, Bloodmania in the chat saying, told you, believe in Black Box. That's what he said at the end of qualifying. Have a feeling he will believe in Black Box after that race. He took the race win, controlled that basically from the start of the race. And in the end, setups were the order of the day. Black Box had much better setup compared to Jerry. Jerry, obviously, with that straight line speed, he would have been hoping that it was a fully dry race, because I think he would have exploited Black Box there in terms of that. Great racing though out on track, much better than Italy. Black Box takes the win from Jerry there in 2nd, Forza Brendan there in 3rd. In the end, down to 3.5 of a second. Forza Brendan there in 3rd, Elliot there in 4th. If he complains about Talent Factory working together, then he can go and probably jog on, I think, after that race, because he just didn't simply have the pace there in 4th. Links there in 5th, Commentalist in 6th, Harry Banks in 7th, Funky Chicken in 8th, Neymar there in 9th. How did Funky Chicken's AI, by the way, finish 8th as a result of that race? That was incredible. Neymar in 9th, Hawk in 10th, Scott Bugner in 11th, Yona, Dalfi, Felix 1, Nathan Clark and Boss Wanted all out of the race at various stages. Black Box takes the win though, Jerry in 2nd, Forza Brendan in 3rd, and Black Box now out on top, extends his championship lead over his title rival, and I think that is what was needed in terms of a championship fight going into the final 3 rounds.
Oh, absolutely. And after that last round when a penalty saw him drop from P1 all the way down to P6, it is brilliant from him to jump back and bounce back to a race victory here in Silverstone. Pole position as well. Has he even been caught not leading in this race at all? Because I feel like the only consistent factor was him being out front pretty much all the time. Led every safety car restart and in the end took home the victory. So it's a fantastic drive from him. Can absolutely say nothing against that. And I mean, brilliant performance and shows why he is the championship leader here in F1.
Yeah, definitely so. Fantastic stuff from the guys out on track. As I say, in terms of the driving standard, some people some people need to watch that race back, but the majority of drivers drove that race clean, were very respectful out on track, much better than Italy. If we can get an improvement of that level towards the end of the season, we might have a race of the season on our hands in the final 3 rounds of the championship. I'm going to take you through quickly the calendar before we log off for tonight. In terms of the calendar, let me tell you, where is the calendar? There we go. We are, oh my god, we're in Singapore next week. Goodness me, who put that on the calendar? Singapore, round 10 of the championship. Mexico and Abu Dhabi are really good tracks on this game. Singapore, whoever put that on the calendar, I'm going to hunt you down, quite literally. It is a terrible track on this game. And yeah, I don't really want to commentate next week, to be honest, but Singapore, it is for round 10. How do you think the drivers are obviously going to cope with the trials and tribulations of the track?
That will be an extreme test of driver patience, endurance, because obviously the longest race on the calendar. Maybe next season that will change, or on the next game, as the Singapore track changes are about to come into effect for that game or for that season in real life. But this season at least, we are going to have a very long race on our hands. And I would not want to imagine the scenes if it were a wet race as well, because we could be here all night at this point. So, yeah, it's certainly going to be a true test of endurance and stamina for the drivers. Keeping it clean, out of the barriers without penalties will definitely be crucial around this treacherous circuit. And, I mean, between the walls is always going to be a blast for them, but it's going to take extra long to try and get that winning champagne.
Yeah, definitely so. And, of course, might be the final time that we get to see Singapore in its current layout because of development works on the racetrack and in the city of Singapore, which is of course the capital of Singapore, which is really strange. There is development work going on around the complex where PK Gate, of course, 2008, and Alonso taking the race win there in the first ever night race in Formula 1. That is the development. All of that, basically to the final corner, is being cut out. So there's going to be one long straight, then the little chicane coming through what is now turns 20 and 21, which I think is going to be 15 and 16, and then the final corner is going to be one left-hander. So it is going to be 17 corners instead of 23 in Singapore in real life. And obviously, if it is the final time that we're going to go to Singapore in that current layout, all I have to say, thank God.
Indeed, I can only agree with that, from a driving perspective as well as from a commentating perspective, because it does not serve up for the most brilliant races most of the time. Though, let's hope we get proved wrong this time round, and that round 10 it will be. Yeah, it will be round 10, yeah, there we go. Will indeed serve up a treat for us, and though I don't have too much hope with what the track is, we can always hope for the best, so... yeah, it will certainly be a very good contrast, a very big contrast to what we've seen this week, with the high-speed track and then the slow, tight, twisty bend of Singapore.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to change the title of this stream once again, because apparently it's Season 9, Round 8 of the Championship. It's Season 8, Round 9 of the Championship here in Britain, which has obviously been concluded. So if you're watching this back by this point and only wait until the results at the end of the race and listen to us absolutely rambling on, yeah, it is not Season 9. However, I believe, because I'm a league director and I know fine well what might be going on in the background, we are probably going to be having very detailed discussions about the future for TML and indeed what that might occur for TML going into Season 9 as well. So keep an eye out on maybe social media, maybe on other channels as well, if you do want to be catching up with the latest potentially on what will be Season 9 of the Championship. Now, we haven't discussed anything. We have not got a start date, not got an end date to the season. We haven't discussed what's going to be on the calendar, haven't discussed what's going to be changing in terms of rules and regs. This is where, though, everyone else is going to come in. But before the end of the season, we're going to release a form asking for feedback from the drivers. Same with the commentators, same with everyone who has been a part this season of TML. And if the sex bot can please go away, that would be great, because I'm trying to finish off a point here. There we are. But yeah, in terms of the feedback, we want to get as much feedback as possible from as many people as possible. So if you're asked to give feedback, give it, because we need every single point of that feedback. We're going to take it on board. Criticism is welcomed as well. I will say that bluntly. Criticism is welcomed. So if you feel that anything has gone... If you feel like anything has gone not according to plan this season, put that in the form that is going to be released. We're going to be working on the form, I'm sure, in the next couple of weeks with a plan, from my perspective anyways, because I'm probably going to be the one that's conducting the form, to release that before the end of the season, potentially before the final round of the championship, and then we can get a lot of good feedback, and then we can work on our plans for season number 9, which is going to be coming up very soon indeed, or soonish. Indeed, and I can't release what anything's going on about EML either, but I do know the start date for EML, so we're going to try and work around in terms of the races for TML as well, which might mean a little bit of a longer break than normal, which I will only whet that appetite just that little bit further. And we are going to end off the stream right there. Big thank you, of course, to Alex for joining me in the commentary box. As always, fantastic to have you alongside me in the commentary box. Of course, we go to the Devil's Advocate, that is Singapore, next week for round number 10 of the TML F1 Championship. More action to come on League Racing TV. F3 and F4 live tomorrow night. Ivan Tonchik on commentary for F3, and Neymar and Funky Chicken, I believe, are both there for Formula 4 tomorrow night as well, both at 8 PM UK time. And hopefully, no bothering sex bots on those streams, please, because I'm not going to be around, so I can't control the moderation. So, yeah, you've been warned, Russia. I'm looking at you. But there we go. I'm just getting off the stream before I get booted off. Thank you so much for watching. Here, the British Grand Prix, Singapore next week. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.